This video is brought to you by Paramount Pictures. Nah, that's a lie. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be building a warehouse right here in front of the path that leads to Vault 111. A lot of people asked me to do this, so thank you all for your suggestions, and I hope that you like it. I'm using warehouse foundations that I get from Workshop Rearranged, but any foundations will work. There's a pretty big slope right here, so I'm going to stack the foundations and have multiple stories to make the building fit in better. And the best way I know how to do that is snap a wall to the top foundation, then two half walls like this, and then you can snap in your lower level foundations with the peace of mind that they are perfectly aligned. That rhymed. And so did that. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I don't like to do things manually. I find that it's much easier to use a snapping system to get objects where you want them. Oh, and you see right here, I'm placing items outside of the settlement borders. There are a few mods that allow you to do this. If you are on Xbox, there's one called Settlement Borders Extended, and the one I'm using on PC is called what's it called? Oh, Build and Snap Beyond Workshop Boundaries. Yeah, they didn't hold anything back with that name. That is exactly what it allows you to do. Alright, so for the walls and pretty much everything else, I'm going to be using one of my favorite mods called Snappy House Kit. I have used this mod in several of my builds, specifically my recent Sanctuary builds, so if you want to hear more about it and see more of what it can do, check out the videos I have in the description. For this part of the build, I'm primarily using the metal kit category of this mod. It gives us a lot of really cool factory looking pieces, which is what I wanted. I wanted to make this look like an old mill or factory, so it worked out great. And this kit is a little bit more advanced as far as pieces go. That's one thing I love about this mod. We get really easy kits like the house kit. It's pretty easy to figure out which pieces go together. And then we have kits like this that took me a little bit to figure out how everything worked. Some pieces I couldn't see where they were supposed to go or what they were supposed to go with, but alas, I figured it out. And also the mod author, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Robertson, yeah, is awesome. They are very responsive to any questions you have and seem like they're always open to suggestions, and just the level of effort it takes to create these mods and keep up with them is amazing, so we really need to give it up for them and show our appreciation. These mods make the game so much better and even more alive 2 years after release. So yeah, all the mod authors out there, I love you. It's no longer a very strong like. It's grown into love, and I hope this isn't moving too fast or anything, because this is how I feel. Alright, anyways, I'm not really explaining what I'm doing in the build because I'm literally placing down walls. All of these are in the Metal Kit tab, and you can see in my menu exactly where I'm getting each wall from. It really comes down to personal preference. So for the edges, I'm going to use the same two walls on each side, both of which have a unique look to them. And the way you do this without making them look repetitive is to only use one per side. You see how I'm strategically placing these down? I'm doing one on each side, and then I'm going to switch to the other piece and fill in the rest of the edges. And to finish up this back part, I'm going to use the two-story side walls in the middle. Alright, so I went ahead and put the rest of those side walls up just to save some time on the video. It's pretty much the same thing you had already seen. And now I'm placing down these concrete walls in the front to give the building a little bit more character. And for the bottom part, you'll see why I'm using these half walls after I put on the roofs. Speaking of which, let's put on the roofs. I'm still under the Metal Kit tab, and I'm putting this trim all the way around. Let's see how fast we can do it. Alright, yeah, that was pretty quick. So I'm just going to switch over to the actual roof pieces and snap those in. And if you're wondering how I'm flying around and building, yeah, pretty cool, right? Yeah, pretty badass. I'm using the mod Pocket Vehicles, which allows you to turn your character into a UFO just by hitting a button, which of course lets you fly around. And I realized a while back that you can actually go into workshop mode as a UFO. So yeah, just download Pocket Vehicles, turn yourself into a UFO, and then hit the workshop button. Alright, let's see how it looks. Look at the skylight. Totally my favorite part so far. Alright, some quick tips. Under the top section of the Metal Kit tab, you can use these end pieces to add a little pizzazz to the edges. Yeah, that's a real word, look it up. Quick tip number 2, these brick walls are a little shorter than the edges, which leaves a gap, but you can cover them up by using any kind of trim that you get from this mod, like so. And quick tip number 3, if you go to the main Snappy House Kit menu, scroll to the Wall Decorations tab, you'll find all these really cool looking pieces that you can place on the walls to make them not look so barren. And I wish I had some kind of joke to end my quick tips on, but but I don't, so yeah. Now we just need to put on the roof for the front part of the building. This is going to be pretty simple. I'm using this piece to make the front a little taller to help with how massive the backside is. I'm sure there's a joke in there somewhere. And then I'm going to snap in a small metal trim on top to match the taller building. So while I'm doing that, this is going to be a scrap house robot workshop. Like, the idea is that anything they scavenge will come here, and the robots that work in this place will sort it all out into pieces that we can use to build stuff. That's why I'm building it here in front of Vault 111, because they can scavenge and scrap through the vault and bring it all right here to be sorted. So with that idea in mind, during the tour you'll see that I used a lot of Vault Tech containers to keep with the idea. So yeah, this is the building that we were able to collect and make all the resources to build the other buildings. Plus, this was a way for me to get the Contraptions and Automatron DLC into this build. You see how it's all coming together? Alright, so the last thing I want to show you guys is this back part. I realized that I needed something like this while I was decorating, so I built it, and I didn't want to have to tear it down and rebuild it for the video. So I used the same method as the first lower level to get these shack foundations in. If you weren't paying attention or didn't see it, go check that part out at the beginning of the video. Then I placed down a warehouse wall just to snap in one of these roofs. Then, of course, built the rest of the roofs around it and snapped in these posts. I wanted a ramp right here where the bridge is, so I used a corner floor from the concrete tab, and it worked perfectly. See, it lines up just right. And for the front part, I had to expand each side by a half wall to get this sign up here. It was hanging off before, and I didn't want it on top of the back building, so yeah, I just snapped in half walls on both sides and then filled in the floors and roofs. Nothing too major. But that's it for the build. Thanks for watching up to this point. Now here's the tour. Alright, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Give this video a like and hit that subscribe button for more content like this. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you soon.